Oh, what a mess. So, all done. Ooh, nice. Very nice. I love the way the final layer of gel coat comes out, because that wax floats to the top and gives everything this, I don't know, smooth, waxy feeling. It's nice. Okay, so that's the locker taking up that wasted space because this sloped back, but it's not in the way of the engine bay. And the upper part is coming along. Covered that, it looks like crap, but at least water doesn't soak in. And the back of it used to be a padded thing on like steel straps that bolted through there. So now this becomes the back of the sofa. And I'm not going to get it out. In one of those lockers there's a cushion that should go there. And this only has the surf cloth on it, as do the sides. And I'm afraid someone's going to step or lean here. And this isn't really very strong. So there's another piece of the clear coated stuff, Nidacore, where you see the honeycomb through the fiberglass that will just go on here and reinforce that. And while we're talking about the clear coated Nidacore, this used to be white, this whole table here, and was beautiful. And you could, it was glossy smooth, and you could see the honeycomb through it. And now it's this dark yellow, and the surface looks like that. Really nasty. So, I don't know. I don't think I can grind all this epoxy off without grinding into the core, which would ruin it, and I'd have to saw it off of the boat and replace. Or I could make another one, saw this off the boat and replace it. Or I could just roll white gel coat over the top of it and like forget that I ever tried to make this nice. And I think that's probably the plan now. So this is just the first time that this was done. Finished, I mean. This now has a layer of gel coat with the wax, and the side of this has it, and the shelves. So we're coming along. I mean, this is almost finished. This top piece is taking a while because I had to do each side, and it takes at least 24 hours for that epoxy. It's real slow. So I do the top one day, the bottom another day, then the four edges is 4 other days. So a minimum of 6 days to get it covered with fiberglass, and then a 7th day to do the glossy finish on what will be the top. Actually, there'll probably be 2 layers of that. So probably 8 days to do the little strip that goes there. Well, you know, 20 minutes each day of 8 days. Oh yeah, and here's where I cut. This used to come out to about there, and I cut 3 inches off the locker, so it lines up with this. So it's really coming along. It's really nice. I think it's a nice addition to the boat. It's probably been 2 months that I've been working on it. But it's pretty nice. The locker. And now I can begin the most difficult part, the front panel with the door. And that gets interesting because, see, the interior of the Nidacore is almost all air. You can't really put screws into this to hold hinges, right? So where the door is going to be, I'm going to have to gouge out a section of core, leaving the fiberglass on either side, right? So that I can set a piece of wood in there and glue that in. And then I can screw my hinges into that wood. So that's the next project. And actually that's been started. This is the piece that will be the front of the locker. And see, the core is still open here, but this is going to be the bottom. I may actually trim off a little bit of this to keep it up off the floor so it's easier to open the engine bay hatch. But everywhere else, the edge has been closed in. And it's also got glass on the front and back, but here you can see the edging is getting nicer than it had been in previous projects. So that's the next project, is taking this piece, cutting a door in it, inlaying some wood in both the door and the other panel to put hinges for the door. Same thing for some sort of latch for the door. Roll gel coat over the whole thing. Glue it to the locker. Fair in the edges where it gets glued to the locker. And gel coat over all of it. That's all I need to do. Another week or so. It's the 4th of July weekend coming up. And I may stay at the parents' for a few days after that to make sure that they make doctor's appointments and whatnot. So I don't know if a week from now this will be done or not. That's really light. This whole panel weighs maybe 10 or 15 pounds. So now I'm going to block it up off of the floor. It's been cut to have a little bit of a gap there at the floor and come out even at the top. And I do a little bit of manipulating to get it where it needs to be. So now I want to see how much clearance I have for things that I want to store in the locker. That wouldn't fit in the lower shelf, but the second to the top shelf, it will fit just barely. There's a special holder for it, which won't fit in that lower shelf, but the whole thing might fit together on the top shelf. So now I'm measuring how much clearance I'll have if I put this in the top shelf. I can have about 3 inches between the top of the locker and where the door would have to be. I'm also going to make measurements of about how much space on either side. In other words, how wide does the door have to be? So now I can take the measurements that I made up top and make marks on the panel to guide where I'll cut the door out. And now it's basically connect the dots. I'm using a plastic cup to draw a curved edge in all 4 corners of the door. So it'll have curved corners rather than hard right-angled corners. The circular saw is the best tool for doing the straight lines. So I finish up the curved parts with the jigsaw. And it didn't release the door right away. There were a few little spots that didn't get cut the first time. There we go. The rain is beginning, so that's just it for another day.